You were given immortality to atone for your horrific crimes against humanity. You wander the earth for millennium. Finally, you are given the option to revoke your immortality and end your suffering. You deny it. You said you'll stay alive, yes. The woman gaped at him, her entourage looking around in confusion. The man smiled at her, allowing her the time necessary to collect her thoughts, patience being a welcome friend after his many years of life. She finally managed to respond after a full minute of silence, her eyes wide with disbelief. You were given immortality and placed under the indefinite watch of the collective 8 millennia ago, you. 7.6 actually. The warden started as the man spoke again, before he continued. Well, 7,614 years to be exact. I've kept count, Commander Winters. Eliza stared at the man, waiting for him to continue, but he seemed more content to smile back at her in silence, so she cleared her throat and continued. That, yes, well you've been under containment for over 8 times the length of any other prisoner, and you're saying you want to continue living in this state? She'd done this twice before, and both times, the prisoners had begged to be granted death, the constant loss of life, the continuous change of reality, the people they know disappearing pushing them to insanity. C, whose name had apparently been lost over the many translations and transitions of technology, the letter being the only address that remained within a single dusty flash drive that had barely booted up when they pulled out centuries-old technology, smiled wistfully as he looked up into the sky, watching the clouds slowly meander across the blue expanse. You know of the crime I was committed of, don't you, Ms. Winters? What of your co-workers here, do they know who they stand before? Eliza sighed as the various soldiers around her looked to her with confusion, none of them having enough clearance to be told about this target or his actions. Nobody does, it's only been stated that whatever you did led humanity towards horror and destruction. Hell, there's no statement on who actually accused you, and honestly I thought the timeline was out of whack because we only instigated the collective some 3 millennia ago, yet you've been in our system as having been imprisoned 5,000 years before that. C turned back to the group, his smile painful as he remembered his crime. Well, your lot did not arrest me, I was condemned by another, and later given to you to appease my existence. In fact, I believe I was the idea behind the whole given immortality and forced to wander the earth concept in the first place. He stood and stretched, walking to the edge of the cliff as he spoke. As for my crime, it ties into why I don't wish to be released yet. I have yet to help humanity enough to contrast the sins I have pushed up on them, and I don't know if I ever will. I introduced a pain that should have never been known, created an evil that should have never been thought of. I took the knowledge my father and mother had cursed us with, and I twisted it in anger, turning it up on my own flesh and blood. And I had the gall to try to hide it from not only my family but from the eyes of heaven itself. His voice grew as he spoke, and Eliza heard one of her soldiers gasp. She turned back and saw Talia, her eyes wide as she grasped the rosary she always wore around her neck. It took a few more seconds but she finally connected the dots, her eyes widening in disbelief as she spun back to the man who had turned back to them, his eyes soft and sorrowful. Cain smiled at them, not even attempting to hide the pain that hid in his soul. My crime, Eliza, was murdering my own brother in cold blood.